Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Way of Wade, or Li-Ning Way of Wade All City 11. Way of Wade is its own entity and it's not part of Li-Ning, but they are owned by Li-Ning. Of course, Way of Wade is Dwayne Wade's brand, and this shoe retails for 150 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. In this color, we have a mix of like a semi-translucent rubber where the pink is, and then like a solid black rubber where kind of like the pods are, right? It's like an oval shape that goes throughout the entire outsole. And then as far as the pattern goes, we have full-on herringbone, right? So how is the traction? The traction is freaking phenomenal, and I'm so damn happy that they changed up the rubber compound from the All City 10 and the All City 10 V2, just because it did slide out and it was a little bit dangerous when there was a lot of dust present, right? If you're playing on clean court, amazing bite, amazing squeak and all that, but it did slide out pretty dangerously if it was very, very dusty. But here in the All City 11, it's not like that, right? So as far as like on a clean court goes, you're gonna be good to go. It has an amazing bite, top tier bite actually, and you're stopping on a dime. So that felt really, really good. And also you don't have to break it in at all. Like literally right out the box, it's amazing. You know what I mean? Right out the box, you have amazing stops and you have a really high pitch and very, very loud squeak. So I really like that. Of course, that has nothing to do with performance for the squeak, but I like to have a nice loud squeak, and this shoe is very, very loud. So performance for dust is actually pretty good. So if you let too much dust build up, however, it does get a little bit dangerous, but it's not terrible like the All City 10. I mean, it's just like a regular hoop shoe. If you let too much dust build up, it just slides out, right? But I would say it slides out a little bit more dangerously than average, but it's still not terrible, right? But it's a really easy wipe. You just go 1 to 2 easy wipes and you're good to go, and you have amazing stops again. Also, it doesn't pick up dust that quickly either. I mean, it's been pretty dirty and pretty dusty where I play at the 24-hour fitness court, and some other shoes like the Kawhi 3 and like other shoes that I'm testing right now were sliding and also wasn't sticking as well as the All City 11 was. So that I was really enjoying playing this. And also another good thing about it is that it seems very, very durable for outdoor use, right? They're actually calling it tough rubber, T-U-F-F, tough, right? And the rubber seems very hard. The grooves are deep and thick, so you should be fine on an outdoor court. So traction, it does all 3 categories amazingly. Clean court, dusty court, and also outdoor court, you should be fine here in the All City 11. Also here in the middle of the outsole, we can see a midfoot shin plate, right? It is double layered, right? So we have one here on the bottom of the shoe and also one kind of like right below your foot, right? So as far as the heel to toe transition goes, also it's very smooth here in the All City 11, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded shape, as you guys can see. And although it is caged, it's not a crazy hard, stiff cage. It allows for a little bit of compression. So that feels nice and smooth here in the heel. And then the forefoot, we have a really curved shape. Look at that, right? And also a lot of forefoot flex, right? So it's not super like springy. For example, in like the Wild 10, we have a carbon fiber plate, and also it's pretty much like full length, right? So it does have a little bit of flex, but it has that springiness, right? It has that like kind of bounce back here in the forefoot, which kind of propels you forward when you're doing heel dominant strides on the court, or even just doing like forefoot dominant strides, right? The AC11 is more on the flexible side, right? So I mean, one's not better than the other. In my personal opinion, I like both. But I feel like, you know, at some days I want one over the other, right? But just telling you guys how it feels. But overall, heel to toe transition feels really nice here in the AC11. And also another thing that I love about the traction is the outsole curvature. Look at that, right? It reminds me a lot of like old school Kyrie. Not as pronounced as the Kyrie 2 and 3. I would say it's a little bit more towards like the Kyrie 5 and 6. It's a little bit more flat like those, but we still have a nice curvature here. And also the rubber does come up on the medial side, so you get better grip when you're doing these types of movements. So that felt amazing as well, and that's a nice addition in my personal opinion to the outsole. Now moving on to the cushioning setup. Also, the cushion is one of my favorite parts about the shoe, and we got full length Boom, and Boom is definitely one of my favorite foams out there, right? So Boom, it looks kind of like Boost, but it feels way better than Boost. It's a lot lighter, right? It feels a lot lighter as far as like it doesn't add that much weight to the shoe at like Boost does, and also it's softer and has more bounce. So what I love about the cushioning setup that Way of Wade has been doing in like all of their shoes is they're giving us a soft strobel board. It's like a mesh strobel board, and it allows for a good amount of compression right underneath your foot, so you can definitely feel the Boom like right underneath your foot and feels amazing. There's a little bit of compression in the forefoot and also here in the heel, and also there is a nice subtle bounce, right? And it's not too much like Zoom Strobel is for me personally, so it's just the right amount. It feels great, and then also super comfortable. The insole is all right, you know, the insole is just like a regular insole, but the step and comfort is really nice, and also court feel is really good. You're really low to the ground and you can feel like the floor pretty much. It feels almost as good as Harden's, but also like with better cushion. Also, impact protection was good. I mean, if you're doing really hard impacts, it's probably not the best option just because you are very low to the ground. They did make this foam like pretty thin, but Boom, of course, is very nice and soft. So overall, it's pretty good. You know, I would say it's adequate, especially for me, but if you're looking for crazy impact protection, like in the Zion 2s or in like LeBron's, then this probably isn't the best option, but it should be adequate for most people. So yeah, overall, it's really nice. And here in the heel, there is nice little compression, like I said, just because the cage isn't super stiff or anything like that. So the cushion is definitely one of my favorite parts about this shoe as well. It just does everything right, in my personal opinion. It does everything really well too, right? Like court feel, impact protection, step and comfort, underfoot cushion, you know, so amazing cushioning setup. And now moving on to the materials. So the materials, they're okay. I mean, my first impression, I really like them, but now that I'm playing in it, it's all right? So this mesh or like textile material here in the toe box definitely does stretch out a lot. So the fit got a good amount roomier here in the toe box, which I don't like. I like to have a very snug fit, so that definitely was a bummer. But I guess overall, like how it feels on foot, it's thin, it's comfortable, it conforms to your foot extremely well. So those are the good things, but it does stretch out a little bit, right? And it's just like more here in the middle of the toe box, because if you look around the toe box, you can see a little bit of glue, and you can see there's like an underlying material there, right? And also we have this like oval fuse shape. And then for the first eyelet on the lateral and medial side, we have like a fly wire for better support, of course. And then here in the midfoot, we have a little bit more of like a supportive material, because it seems like there is an underlying material as opposed to here in the toe box. So that feels pretty nice. And then for the tongue, we have like an average amount of tongue. It's pretty minimal actually, and it's also a half booty construction tongue with like an open mesh here on the bottom, right? For better ventilation. Of course, the laces are kind of weird. We have this like, I don't know, we have like dots on the edges, and it's pretty weird, like as far as like how it feels and stuff when you're tying up the shoe, but it doesn't really matter all too much, right? And then here in the ankle area, I would say there's an average amount of padding as well. The material quality I feel like could be a little bit better, like here on the tongue and also right here in the ankle area. This is like a very cheap synthetic suede type of material, you know, and also here where the eyelets are. So yeah, I feel like, you know, now that I've played in it and broken it in, the quality doesn't seem as good as I thought from my first impressions, so especially for 150 bucks, but like I said, it feels nice on foot. Also, I really like this design, although this doesn't really do anything as far as function goes. It doesn't help you put on the shoe, right? We have a very high heel tab as well, but it just looks cool, right? So the material overall, it feels pretty nice on foot, but not the best for quality. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size, and lengthwise, it was good for me, right? But like I said, this material does, look at that. It stretches out and does get a good amount of room. Look at that. When I scrunch it up, it goes up a lot, right? So I can pretty much not fully, but I can curl my toes up a little bit. So that definitely does suck, like I said, because I like to have a very snug fit. If you like a roomier toe box, then you should be okay going true to size. But if you want to be on the safer side of things, maybe go up half a size. So that definitely does suck, but it wasn't a huge deal, right? And also for width, it is slightly narrow. So I mean, lengthwise and, you know, for the width, it was good for me. It was like a nice snug fit. I just didn't like the roomier toe box once I started to break it in. But like I said, it's not terrible for me. So fit was okay for me personally. Also, like I said, very high heel tab. This shoe is super easy to just slide on. And now moving on to support and lockdown. Support and lockdown also was very good. You know, for lateral containment, as you guys can see, this part comes up, this rubber piece comes up a good amount, acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot. We have an internal TPU heel counter, so lateral containment, I was good to go. And also we have this fly wire that kind of makes the material a little bit more supportive here in the forefoot, so that felt nice as well. And even though it was roomy here in the toe box, my foot wasn't moving inside of the shoe that much, right? So lateral containment, I was good to go. And also lateral stability, look at that. You see how much this piece kind of protrudes out. So we have a very wide, low to the ground and laterally stable base. So lateral stability was very good for me. And also I didn't really experience like crazy heel slippage, but my heel didn't feel like super locked down in the shoe either. And like, of course, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't slipping out. It just didn't feel 100% locked down, right? For example, in like the Wild 10 was I was good to go. But like I said, it wasn't a deal breaker. All right, as far as the weight of the shoe goes, if I remember correctly, it's like around average, right? Yeah, 12.7 ounces. That's pretty much average weight. Let's check the other pair. 12.84 ounces. Let's actually check the Wild 10. I feel like the Wild 10 is a little bit lighter. Yeah, 11.82, right? So, yeah, the AC11 is average weight. The material feels super minimal, but also when you're playing it, it's a very responsive shoe just because the traction is top tier. The cushion, you're low to the ground, but also it's like comfortable, but it's not too mushy or too soft. Support is good, so I felt really quick when I was playing in the shoe. Just the heel felt a little, like, I definitely felt like it could have been better as far as the lockdown goes in the heel, but like I said, I don't think it slowed me down that much. It was just kind of annoying when I was playing in it, but I got used to it pretty quickly, right? So yeah, it's a very responsive and lightweight shoe. As far as the ventilation goes, ventilation is pretty damn good, right? There's a lot of airflow through this material, and also, like I said, we have a very open mesh for the tongue, so we have very good ventilation for the AC11. Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. This colorway is dope, and they have two other colorways that look amazing as well. This is the Sunrise colorway, I believe, and this gradient that they're doing on this cage, it looks amazing, right? And I also really like this part right here. I really like this design too. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, this is a top tier performer. There were little things that I didn't like about it, right? Like the fit and also the heel. It's not slippage, but like it wasn't fully locked down, right? But other than that, it's an amazing shoe. Cushion is freaking amazing, traction is amazing. I also love the outsole curvature, like that addition is amazing. Support's good, feels minimal and pretty lightweight on foot. So yeah, it's a top tier performance. I feel like most people will enjoy it. If you're a bigger dude, probably not the best option just because it's very low to the ground, but I feel like you should be okay with it. Also, like the material isn't the most supportive if you're like a bigger dude, right? But for guards, this is amazing, right? And I definitely would recommend it to you guys because I really enjoyed playing in the shoe. So yeah, it is approved by the Sole Drop and I heavily recommend it to you guys. It's an amazing performer. But anyways, that about concludes my review of the All City 11. Again, if you guys do want to cop a, try to leave a feed link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.